Hi, I'm Brian Russell, and I want to give a couple of quick tips that hopefully will empower you to have a growth mindset so that you can succeed in hard classes. Now, I put hard in parentheses because coursework's always kind of in the eye of the beholder, but traditionally, some of the courses that I teach are thought to be difficult. In particular, for my exegesis classes, the students have difficulty thinking about biblical Hebrew, and many people will come in and say things like, I'm not good at languages, or I'm no good at Hebrew. Inductive Bible study has some learning curve to it as well, and sometimes students will come into the class with the idea this is going to be really difficult. But what I want you to think about, though, is how important it is to set a goal. Now, I have other video about talking about how to find out your why and how to set yourself up for success. But part of succeeding in a class that's supposed to be quote unquote difficult is breaking down kind of mental patterns that actually create real anxiety in you in the first place. Because, these classes essentially are neutral. Like if you ask me about inductive Bible study, in my experience when I was a student, I would say, man, it was great. In fact, I'll say it was the best class that I had when I was at Asbury, and I loved it, even though it did stretch me and it took some time, but I absolutely loved it. So when I think back, I only have really good memories, and I loved languages too. I had that goal in mind. I wanted to become a confident, competent, inspiring reader of the scriptures for the sake of the world. And so that was always my why, so I was able to keep that going. But here's some things. I want you to think about this. If we think about a pattern, and this is a kind of a mental pattern that I learned from Coach Brooke Castillo, who's a life coach, and she uses what she calls the model, which involves circumstances, your thoughts, your feelings, your action, and your result, right? And I'm just going to show you a little map. This can help with a lot of things, but I want you to think about this course: inductive Bible study, exegesis, Old Testament introduction, whatever you have with me. And you can think about any of your other courses and ask yourself, do you have fears? Do you have any kind of negative feelings that come up about the class? And a lot of times in terms of a feeling that will come up, it's interesting. A lot of people will say, I'm afraid I'm not going to be able to pass the class. So there's fears, or there's anxiety, or there's worry, or there's stress. Now, the key piece, though, is to back up and say, what causes the fear or the anxiety? And what I want you to see is it's not the class, right? So I'm going to put up here IBS, or, let's put Hebrew, exegesis. These classes are just neutral circumstances. So there's classes that you have to take if you want to get the degree, right? The classes themselves don't make you feel in any kind of negative way. And again, some of you have positive thoughts, you can almost just skip this lecture or find something in your life where you do have negative feelings about it, okay? But then what you want to do is then it's not the class, it's your interpretation of what it means. Like, what if you say your thought that creates this is, I'm not good at languages. Wow, well, if you're not good at languages and you have to take a class that requires you to know Hebrew or Greek, yeah, I can see how that might create some fear. So notice what the things that you say to yourself, how that actually creates your problems, and then what actions do you take? That sometimes can create things like paralysis, procrastination, or you say things like, I don't know what to do, I don't understand. Those are your actions. And then what result do you get? You actually prove that you're not good at languages because you don't do the work or whatever, right? So just notice how the interpretation that we give to neutral circumstances can create this. So here's a better question for this class. Again, I don't want you to feel anxiety, worry, stress, or fear about the classes you take with me, because as I said, if you're going to put your time into this class, you're going to do well. I'm rooting for you, right? So I believe in you. So the key thing is, how do you want to feel so that you can take action every day on your classes? That's the question. You don't want to be paralyzed or procrastinate or put things off or not think about it. What you want to do, think about what you really want to do. The result that you actually want, let's do another piece over here. What's your result that you want? You want to pass the class. And heck, I would be fine if you put in there, I want to get an A in the class. Let's put it in there. Let's pass the class with a B or A. So, an above average or even outstanding grade, right? Let's put that in there. That's the result you want. So what actions would you need to do to be able to pass the class with an A or B? How about you show up and do your work, you take action appropriate to it, and you essentially do the class. So I'm going to put take action. Now, and if you're going to take action on the class and study and do your assignments on time, how would you need to feel? I mean, if you feel fearful, anxious, worrying, and stress, how does that set you up to succeed, right? And instead, how about this? Feeling confident. How'd you like to feel confident? Empowered about any class that you take. Well, again, because note the same, this is going to be the same still. It's just the same classes. Inductive Bible study, Hebrew, exegesis. Now I want to feel confident about that. So, what you want to do is you want to go through it and get all the bad thoughts out. What's the stinking thinking that you have about the class? And instead think, what do you really want this class to mean? So how about this? Like, even if it's true in your past that you're not good at languages, what if you simply say this? I'm not good at languages yet, but I got this. Because friends, if you put the time in, you'll get it. So write out a new way to think this. How about this for a class? A thought. I've got this. Or I can learn new things. I can't wait to master this subject. Or, wow, this will help me read Scripture better. Now, think these thoughts. What does that create? That creates excitement even, right? So do you want to have an empowering growth mindset to succeed in hard classes? Get rid of your stinking thinking that create negative feelings that lead to paralysis and lack of success. Because notice the classes themselves, even the professor, that's neutral. That's just a circumstance. And instead, write down how you need to think in order to put yourself in a state where you can be confident, empowered, excited, ready to rumble. And then, out of that kind of feeling, that feeling of empowerment, you're going to take the action. You're going to do what it takes to pass this class with the best grade that you're capable of getting. Again, you still got to do the work, but give yourself the gift this semester of putting yourself in the right mental state for maximum learning. This is what I do for myself. This stuff works. Maybe you've never heard anybody talk about this. If you have more questions, let me know. I'm Brian Russell. It's my absolute privilege to be your professor, and I can't wait to watch you thrive in this course.